You don't get to keep coming back and forth, you know, if you hurt me and then you come back and say apologize years later. No, if you want a revolving door, hop your ass over to Macy's on 34th. Have you ever waited on an apology that never came? Me too. And you know what? It's not even about the apology. It's about forgiveness, right? For ourselves, for our peace. And I just wanted to do a video today talking about why you should forgive, even when you don't have an apology, just to set yourself free. Let's talk. People can hurt you in so many ways. You can hurt people in so many ways, right? It's, you know, two-way street with the hurt. I wanted to briefly talk about why some apologies will never come, right? Sometimes I think number one reason, pride and ego gets in the way, right? Like there takes a certain amount of humbling that you have to do, right? A certain amount of ego killing or an ego death that has to happen before you're like, you know what? I hurt this person. Let me just say sorry for what it is, right? And it's like, personally, I cannot deal with people that are above apologizing, right? No, because you're not perfect, right? You're gonna make someone feel away, you're gonna hurt someone. So why not apologize? Why are you dying on this hill of like, well, I don't feel like I did anything wrong if someone tells you that you hurt them? Another reason is that they don't see their actions as wrong, which that also could like set me over, right? I think to be self-aware is a blessing, right? To see how you're perceived in the world, how people perceive you, things like that. So you have to kind of understand when your actions, or do some reflecting to see when your actions have hurt somebody. And I think the last reason would be like somewhere along the lines of fear of consequences or being vulnerable with someone, right? Not letting them see that other side to you, which I don't know. I think having emotions and knowing how to navigate them is great, right? I'm not always zen, I'm not always peaceful, but you know, you go up and down and you work things out. When you hold on to that like resentment and that anger that you feel towards someone, all you're doing is eroding at your body, right? Your body is storing that trauma, which is why a lot of people get into somatic therapy or they're doing yoga to kind of release all the tension and all the stress that lives in our hips, right? And I got tight hip flexors. I'm working on it. But freeing yourself from that emotional fatigue of like ruminating over the problem and how they hurt you and what you wanted to say and what you didn't say, what you would have done differently, all of that stuff just gets so tiresome. And then also too, when you're holding on to the grudges and holding on to resentment and things like that, you're keeping your energy tied to them, right? You're keeping, and to be honest with you, I feel like that's what ages people. Like anger, you know, sometimes alcohol, you know, resentment, just being bitter, all that kind of stuff really like, it just chips away at you. I keep saying that, just chip away. And plus you're delaying your growth and your self-discovery, right? Like, oh man, if I could go back in time and you think about your 20s and you think about how you thought you were so grown and you knew everything and you couldn't tell me nothing because I bought a drink and now I can rent a car without those high insurance rates. Like, oh baby, I was just getting to know myself. And I think, you know, now in your 30s, you spend time, you go through some things, you have life changes and stuff like that. You hopefully get to learn more about yourself and what makes you tick and what are your triggers and how you can navigate through those things, because there's always going to be something. Always. Forgiveness is not excusing terrible behavior in no shape or form. Like, no, forgiveness is for yourself. It's for you so that you can release it and let go and move forward with your life. And then you could also, like, you know, act accordingly too, right? Because sometimes you're in situations where you can't cut everybody out, right? That's not ideal. That's not something that we can do. Because I know we're so quick to be like, well, I'm gonna cut them off and that's it. But you can't always do that. You have to learn how to navigate those things, because you know, when you're healing and you're healing in isolation and then you come back to those exact things that trigger you, you're gonna spiral. You're gonna go a little crazy. You're gonna look cuckoo. So I'm trying to, you know, let's try to not do that all the time. Although I will say sometimes it's okay to let your anger win. Okay. Sometimes it's okay to let your anger win, because you know what? You keep all of that in, and I know as women, oh, we keep that in so much. It's just like, it's okay, no, it's fine, no problem, no, it's cool, no, don't worry about it, don't worry about it. Meanwhile, you're like cussing them something stink in your head. You're pissed off, you're upset, you're disappointed, whatever, and the person has no idea what's going on. So I say, if you need to take a moment, take a breather, and then, see if the person's willing to have a conversation, blah, blah, blah. But get it off your chest, like breast reduction, like Kendrick said. I don't really believe in giving tea, but I've had a situation where someone hurt me really, really bad, and they painted like this narrative that I was like this terrible person or whatever. And I remember, as hurt as I was, right? And of course I'm like, oh, I wanted to like seek revenge and all this other stuff. But I'm like, no, it's not up to me. Leave it alone. We can quote the Bible or we can quote Destiny's Child. I'm not going to dish you on the internet because my mama taught me better than that, right? And I never said anything. Then years later, this person came back around to apologize. And I sat with the message for a little bit, and I'm like, I don't really need the apology right now. I did what I needed to do to rebuild and move on and forgive. So I just didn't really want it, and I was also questioning like the motives of it, like, but had I not done the work on myself to kind of let go or process everything that I was feeling, right? Because you don't want to just say it's fine and just sweep it under the rug, because it's going to come out in other places. But to actually sit with those feelings, right? No smoking, no drinking, no partying, no shopping, sitting with those feelings, right? And going through the waves. And you come out on the other side and you're like, I'm not mad at you, but I just, I don't think we need to reconcile. I don't think there needs to be a conversation at this point. So that's my little personal story. And what I found to be really helpful, journaling. I know I always preach that, right? But sometimes it's nice to write a letter. It doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to be grammatically correct or anything like that. Writing a letter to whomever has wronged you, but don't send it. Just write it for yourself so you can get it out of your brain, get it out of your system. If you're actually physically writing it, a great thing to do would be to burn it. I know the documentary Chica and me would want to be like, well, we need to archive it first and do that. But if you write it out, burn it and move on with your life. Just to talk for real, I never wanted to be that ex that's like a revolving door, right? Like, you don't get to keep coming back and forth, if you hurt me and then you come back and say apologize years later. No, if you want a revolving door, hop your ass over to Macy's on 34th. Don't come here. Don't come here. And I say that with love. I say that with love because, I don't know. Think sometimes certain things you forgive, but you don't forget. What has been really helpful with forgiving people without an apology is to keep in mind or refocus, regroup, or recalibrate about the things that you can control, right? Which is your behavior, your reaction to things like that, or to the hurt itself. So it's easier said than done. I won't be that person to be like, oh, every moment's going to be Zen. No, it's not. But try your best. And if you do fall off that horse, it's okay. Don't beat yourself up. You're human, right? Sometimes we go off. But come back on the horse and, try to do better next time. Focus on the things that you can control. This one I've been really working with, and I want to do a little bit better with it, but like the daily affirmations, right? Of like just telling yourself that you're deserving of this, or you deserve a peaceful life, you deserve love, you deserve respect, you deserve honesty, you are an honest person, you are respectful, you are loyal, those kind of things that you can just keep telling yourself, right? Just ingrain it into your psyche. I don't know. They have a bunch of those like frequency wave videos that you can listen to with affirmations and stuff like that. Whatever floats your boat. Hey, I'm with it. Whatever helps for you to feel good and safe, I'm totally down with it, right? Safe place to talk dangerously. With that being said, let's wrap. This is your empowering reminder that forgiveness is for yourself, not anybody else, not your cousin, not your brother, not your sister, mother, father, whomever, not your ex, not your friend, none of that. It is for you so that you can move forward and live the life that you want. Try not to look at forgiveness as like this game that you have to win, right? It's not even about that. Just because you forgive someone doesn't mean that you're losing the battle or anything like that, or losing the war. You're just choosing to move in a different direction, that aligns with your frequency and keeps you, you know, flowing high. Because I always think about Michelle Obama's line, like, you know, when they go low, we go high. And I know it's very tempting. It's very tempting to go low. But after you go low, that feeling that you have, it's not worth it sometimes. It's not. Most of the time. I know, for me, I'm like, ugh, did I really just do that? Did I let somebody bring me to that level? So yeah, don't wait on that apology to come. Free yourself today, okay? Free yourself today and continue being the awesome, amazing, loving person that you are. I love you. Thank you for watching. I'll see you here next time in a safe place to talk dangerously with Taylor-Alexis. Okay, bye.